Yes.
Once again, you're welcome to the studios of Frontline TV, bringing news to your front view. It's newspaper headlines, and I'm your anchor. Moses Calvin is my name, together with Uncle Sam in the studio. Uncle Sam, good morning, and you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Well, today we're going to be sampling some headlines from our daily tabloids, and we're going to do a little bit of analysis so as to give you how some opinions have been going and the happenings around Nigeria. Today we're going to start with the Vanguard newspaper. The leading story in front of the Vanguard newspaper says outrage greets EFCC's freezing of Osun government's account. While we froze the account, this one is coming from the EFCC, and Adeleke to challenge action in court. Anti-graft agency lacks power to freeze account. Osun Accountant General is the one saying that, and also it's an attempt to aid APC and Accord Party. This is political terrorism, and also lawyers slam EFCC, call for adherence to due process. That's the leading story in front of the Vanguard newspaper. And still from it, WAEC releases 2026 results as 1.2 million candidates pass English and Maths. And still from the front of that Nigerian newspaper, corruption claims, police accountability inside the VDM, that's very dark man, and the AIG Jimo saga. Federal government to deepen consultations with Catholic bishops, SGF, as Obi Kwankwaso defend Onayekon and also the Catholic bishops. Dangote refinery drops PMS to 1,165 naira per liter, while the diesel to 1,570 naira per liter. MTN hits 3 trillion naira revenue, reinvest 1.6 trillion in network. Well, Uncle Sam, outrage greets EFCC's freezing of Osun government accounts. How would you react to that?
Moses, I would like to be honest with you. My view on it is that the timing may not be proper. Even if EFCC has reasons to freeze the account, it shouldn't be now. Every right-taking person will see it as political terrorism, which many politicians have labeled it to be. Yes. So the timing is wrong. And of course, it goes beyond that of Osun State. It should be something that EFCC and the government should look into. It is not only when election is coming close that such action should be taken against states or political individuals or groups that are not in the same uniform with the federal either agencies or whatever. So the timing is wrong. So if I were to be EFCC, I would have looked into the account last year or 6 months before now. Or even if there's a problem with the account, allow the elections to finish, then you look into it. After all, that's still the same.
And will you still believe that it's an attempt to aid the APC?
That definitely, that is what it seems like. It seems like they want to, the EFCC is maybe playing out a written script already. So if I were to be EFCC, I will wait for election, after the election, then because the crime is, if it's a crime that has been committed, it will still be there, unattended to. Then allow the sleeping dog to lie till after the election.
So now the federal government to deepen consultations with Catholic bishops, says the secretary to the government of the federation, as Obi Kwankwaso defended Onayekon and Catholic bishop. You remember just, I think, 2 days ago, to be precise, that the Catholic bishops had audience with His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talking about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And at the same time, they told him the problems, the challenges Nigerians are facing. Then later on, after that meeting that they had with the president, we learned from a report that they were asked to now apologize back to the presidency. What they said, is it true? So is it that in Nigeria, saying the truth is a crime? Because according to other individuals, prominent even in the country, said what these people said is in line. And it's true that Nigerians are facing and going through a lot So this issue of deepening consultations, I don't actually know what the federal government I don't know what they're trying to play out.
Moses, if I may add a little bit to it, I remember before the election of 2023, a group of so-called bishops went to Tinubu and ordained him that he will win.
That was then.
That was then. Did those bishops come back to apologize to Nigerians?
They didn't.
No, because they should have apologized to Nigerians if the presidency now want this Catholic bishop to apologize to Tinubu and the federal government. And secondly, Musa, a right-thinking person will judge by criticism, will rule by criticism. If you are being criticized, you go back home and ask yourself, this thing I've been criticized on, is it true? How am I looking at it? Before the administration came in, Musa, a liter of petrol was less than 300 naira. Before this administration came in, a liter of 1 kg of gas was less than 250. So if the Catholic bishops says Nigerians are suffering, the president and the presidency would have asked, in which way do you want me to help, to adjust? Before the administration came in, we had what we call petrol subsidy, which I remember vividly that before now, before this 2020 election, before this administration, most of them in this administration said that the subsidy was a scam. But when the administration came in, they said, okay, there was subsidy, we are removing it. And this is what we are going to use the money for. Things will be better. But this is 3 years on. Things have not changed for the better as envisaged. So you don't expect the Catholic bishops to keep quiet. They should uphold to their office of saying the truth, which they say Nigerians are suffering. Please, Papa President, do something. It will not be in the interest of Nigeria for presidential dogs like Boala and others to start attacking the bishops. No. All the bishops couldn't have come together and say, let us lie against the federal government. They couldn't have done that. So if I were Boala and other media aides of the Excellency, I would have asked this Catholic bishop, please, in what way do you think we can adjust to make Nigeria better so that Nigerians will feel better for democracy?
Which will have been a better
option instead of backing at the bishops.
Okay, now the last headline I'm going to take from the front of the Vanguard. Federal government orders payment of civil servants outstanding wage award before August 15th. You may not need to react to that one. So I think
Musa, let me briefly to that.
Okay.
You want to pay them because campaign is coming. It is not only a federal matter now, because most states that used to pay salary 2-3 weeks behind schedule are now paying on time, simply because they want to win the heart of the people. Remember, salary is not an investment. It's how do I put it? It is a responsibility. So if federal government or state government pay salaries, they shouldn't see it as their doing job. They are doing what they are supposed to do. In fact, they shouldn't even receive thanks for paying salary because they themselves are receiving salaries. So it should not be that I pay salary, you use it as a political tool. No, you are doing what you are supposed to do.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for your intake concerning those issues from the front of the Vanguard newspaper. Now we're going to move over to The Guardian. The leading story in front of The Guardian newspaper, as we continue to analyze some of these things to know the more in-depth reality of certain things. The leading story in front of The Guardian says Adeleke APC bicker over fraud, vote buying plot and intimidation. Tinubu allows rescue of 308 kidnapped victims, seeks enhanced security, and federal government seeks renewed pact with faith leaders as Obi Kwankwaso back on Icon. You understand? And also 4 oil firms grow profits by 158% in HI as revenue hits 5 trillion naira. Reps to sanction NILDSDG for alleged participation in APC primaries. So worried and a group protest in Abuja, Lagos against hardship and also insecurity. And then the top part of it says Oyo APC push back on Makinde's criticism of Tinubu's economic reforms. Federal government orders measures to protect health workers nationwide, and also Dangote refinery cuts petrol ex-depot price by 50 naira, diesel by 80 naira. So, which one do we start with?
Anyone you like.
Adeleke and APC bicker over fraud, vote buying plot, and intimidation.
Musa, these are politicians. When the odds favor them, they'll say one thing. When the odds doesn't favor them, they act differently. So if the politicians in Nigeria, especially from the upper class, the governors and whatever, come together and say, let us fortify technology for our elections. This issue of vote buying will not be there. If we can use NIMSI, their database or their listen to
go for is already there.
So there is no need talking about vote buying or not vote buying or intimidation during election. Except, which is not except anyway, the point is agreed that Nigerian politicians would not allow technology to be used properly in elections because they know that technology don't lie.
But
except when they manipulate it. Yes. So this issue of bickering over
fraud, vote buying,
it will not end. Yeah. It will come up in 2027. And except we use technology 100%, it will continue to be that way.
Okay. Then this issue of the president lauding the rescue of 308 kidnapped victims, 6 enhanced security. I just want to say something a little bit concerning this leading story because he has to actually laud.
Yes.
You understand? But more needs to be done because these are not the only people that are still in captivity. So more needs to be done, and as long as he's seeking for enhanced security, every other agency that is saddled with that responsibility will also have to tighten up.
The question we can ask now is how many Nigerians are in captivity? We cannot give the correct number.
No.
And of course, the issue of Leah Sharibu has even gone under the carpet.
Till now.
Under the carpet. Those who are supposed to, the religious bodies, both the Christians, both the Muslims, both the free thinkers, everybody has kept quiet about her issue. So if it just because of a tip of an iceberg, you say 300 people have been released, the country should be mourning because of the uncountable numbers that are still in captivity. We shouldn't rejoice.
So in a way, this law, the way he lauded the rescue of this, ought not to be that loud.
Ceremonious. Yes, it shouldn't be.
Because there are still
many. This is just a tip of the iceberg. If you just less than 1% of those in captivity. Remember those university graduates? With how many? There are so many people still under captivity.
Well, I think we're going to continue hoping for the best.
And some part of the Chibok girls are still there.
Yes. So this issue of Dangote refinery cutting petrol ex-depot price by 15 naira. Do you think 15 naira is actually...
For them, 15 naira is big. But for us, 15 naira is insignificant. Because if I buy petrol now and say you are minusing 15 naira, what have you done? Except for those people using it in transportation. When you buy 15 naira and they remove, or you are buying a whole lot, maybe 100 liters or 85 liters, 50 naira may make a sense. But Nigeria, it's only Nigeria there whereby when there is a windfall in international oil, Nigeria oil will go up. If there is glut, Nigeria will still go up.
And there was a windfall, if you remember.
That's what I'm saying.
The former vice president, talking about Atiku Abubakar, mentioned that issue of what did they even do with the windfall that came out from the proceeds of the oil. You understand? And no answers.
No answer
to that up till now.
So the whole thing in Nigeria about oil is fraudulent, if I may use that word. Because it goes up, it's high in Nigeria. It goes down, it's high in Nigeria. You start to wonder, are we the only country on planet Earth that
so many things, if they go up, they don't come down. Now, that's it from that end. We're going to now move over to the next newspaper, which is the Daily Trust newspaper. The newspaper you can trust. Daily Trust. Leading story, AFCC freezes Osun account 10 days to election.
We have said that before.
Which many people are saying that it's not
supposed to be so.
So, EFCC freezes Osun account 10 days to election. Top part of it says WAEC records 61% pass rate with polls 167,486 results is what WAEC withheld. And also on IACON presidency to deepen consultations with Catholic bishops and others. Let's just hope that they will make a positive headway concerning that. And then 176 Kwara abductees regained freedom after 6 months in captivity, which was what we mentioned earlier, that there are still more people that are in captivity. So that lauding ought to have not we have been that pronounced, but thank God. And I don't think the president lauded the efforts of the people of Kwara for the release of these abductees. But all the same, let's extend it to them. It's actually a plus. 176 is no small number. So from the down part of it, protests in Lagos, Abuja over insecurity and hardship. 4 passengers burnt to death in Abuja-Lokoja road crash, and federal government orders the payment of outstanding wage awards to civil servants. We've talked about that one. And how three brothers guarding Plateau village were killed. Most unfortunate. So, uh, Uncle Sam, this issue is actually making the rounds that has to do with the freezing of Ocean account 10 days to election. And many people view it as political terrorism.
As we discussed earlier.
Yes, as we discussed earlier. So now we have also discussed the issue of the presidency to deepen consultations with the Catholic bishops and others. We pray that there's going to be a positive outcome of it, because this issue of others, we don't know who the others are. But in the real sense, the truth has been said about the present situation of every living Nigerian, especially those in the middle class, in quote. You understand? So I think we're not going to say much on the Daily Trust, because it's almost similar to that one of the Vanguard, which we x-rayed earlier. Moving on to the Leadership newspaper. The Leadership newspaper, don't forget you're still watching these newspaper headlines from Frontline TV, bringing news to your front view together with Uncle Sam. Leadership newspaper is next. The leading story: Tinubu applauds rescue of 308. Now you see
The figures.
yes, 308 Kwara and Niger kidnap victims. So we thank God for that. 106 Woro Kwara abductees freed. 145 Niger victims released. Victims rescued by military, DSS, police from Kainji Lake National Park Forest. This one's coming from the statement is actually coming from the presidency. So there you have it. You know, we've been discussing this and we've been sampling the opinions of so many people in recent past, whereby we know that the military, the DSS, the police, they are, let's just commend them for job well done. It has not been easy. And one thing that we remember many people from sampling their opinion say is that Nigeria what it takes to nip this thing in the bud. You understand? They have the equipment and every other thing. All what they are waiting for is to be encouraged more.
Musa, what is stopping Nigeria from dealing successfully with this terrorism is just political will and sentiment. If we remove sentiment and put in appropriate political will into it, Musa, this terrorism will have abated to a very low level. Now, why do I say sentiment? How can you catch a terrorist? In the first place, say these terrorists are not Nigerians. Say they're infiltrators. Quite good, accepted. Now, when you apprehend them, oh, you say you're going to rehabilitate them. After rehabilitating them, you now integrate them
back into the society.
And there are evidences that most of those who seem to have been reintegrated still plot and either escape and go back to where they come from. So what are we saying? And you leave people who are genuinely in prison for armed robbery. You leave them there. Or so-called allegedly armed robbers or whatever. So what is good for the Ghana? When we remove sentiments both tribal, religious, and sectional sentiments in Nigeria, will go far. But as long as Nigerian leaders, politicians, and statesmen are still dangling in the area and in the apron of supporting one aspect or the other, Nigeria will not be good. Let us remove sentiment from whatever thing we do. Let us see Nigeria as Nigeria. Let us not see it as North-West and South. Let us not see it as Christian, Muslim. Let us not see it as Hausa, Yoruba, Fulani. No. If we keep doing that, Nigeria will not be better. We should do things for Nigeria, not for individual groups.
Well, President, another leading story here says, President willing to forge stronger partnership with Catholic bishops. This one is coming from the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, talking about Senator George Akume.
Mr. I filed that statement. Why do I say so? So if maybe the Baptists now go and meet him and say, "Oh God, you are not doing well," he will now go and forge better relationship with them. If there is Ahmadiyya, a Muslim group, go and meet him, he'll say, you are not doing well. He say, well. So if what the Catholics said is holistic, attack it from the holistic point of view, not trying to go and pick Catholics. Come on, you said something like this.
Or Baptist or Anglican.
Thank you. So it's like it's as if I say, come, I'm going to bribe you. That's what that statement sounds like. So if the Catholic bishop say, "Okay, Nigeria is bleeding. Help Nigeria not to bleed again." Do it in a way that will affect better Nigerians, not just calling one group. You can ask yourself, where am I doing? That's what you should have asked them in the first sitting. This second one wouldn't have been necessary.
So I think that is why the other newspaper said, and others. Not that they're just concentrating on one particular aspect of the individuals. So there you have it from there, but still from the front of the leadership. Let me quickly read out some more newspaper headlines. Community policing key to tackling insecurity across Nigeria. This one's coming from the Sultan, and also Niger to Gazette. 14 grazing reserves and farmer herder clashes, and also military places 60 million naira bounty on 2 wanted ISWAP and ISIS commanders in Lake Chad. Last but not the least, from the front of that newspaper, soldiers hail salary increment, seek review of allowances. Do you want to add something to any of those ones?
I just have to add kudos to His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, saying that he allowed the state police. Well, whichever way, if the police, the state police is going to be trained by the existing national police, how do you expect them to behave? Well, if you behave like a teacher, except the state police will be trained with a different mindset, different sentiment, different orientation. If they are going to be trained by the present core of Nigerian police, definitely they will behave like the Nigerian police. Because you cannot, paper doesn't change its color. If Nigerians are complaining about their police system, and then this person you are complaining about is going to train your child, how would the child behave? He will behave like the teacher. So except we have a different view, state police is good, very, very good. Some countries have it. I don't want to drag this matter because if we say because America has state police, we must have state police. America doesn't have vice president, so why must we? Doesn't have senate president. Why must we have senate president? America doesn't have up to 40 ministers. Why must we have up to 40 ministers? So if state police is really is what we need, so be it. But if we don't need it, scrap it.
Okay. That's a good one. All right, now moving over to the last newspaper that we're going to sample some of the leading stories is the Daily Sun newspaper. Don't forget you're still watching Frontline TV. We're taking the last newspaper for today, and the Daily Sun is next. That's the last dailies for today. The front of it says, Ocean government cries foul ahead. Now they have headed to court over frozen bank accounts by the EFCC. Action political terrorism, reckless ADC, and Accord. This one's coming from these two political parties. That the action is political terrorism.
Yes, ADC and Accord.
Yes, it's another form of recklessness. Presidency links Dangote refinery export boom. Indigenous oil deals to Tinubu's economic reforms. And also, President hails rescue of 308 abducted Nigerians. Order stronger early warning systems, and also strike. Airpeace boss Onyema cautions unions to plot to shut down airlines. Wow. And Tinubu has stabilized economy, says Kalu. Tinubu ready to deepen dialogue with Catholic bishops coming from the SGF Akume. And I think almost all the newspapers have some similar same stories. So now this issue of the airstrike. Airpeace boss Onyema cautions unions on plots to shut down airlines. If today the airlines in Nigeria is grounded to a halt, what's going to be the turnout?
Musa, 90% of Nigerians don't use aeroplane. 90%. Then the question is, those 90% that do not use aeroplane, what do they use? You say land. The question is, how beautiful and how good are majority of roads in Nigeria? So airports and this wouldn't be my own business. My own business should be Jalingo to Numa. My own business should be Jalingo to Ukari. My own business should be Ukari to Kasinala. My own business should be Kasinala to Otukpo or whatever. Not airport, because 90 to 95% of Nigeria don't use airport. Because so it's an elite matter.
They can't
afford it. So this is not my thorough. The point I want to make is, please, if they want to, let them go on strike, so that all
if they want,
in fact, they should go on strike, so that half of those who use the aeroplane should use the land
and know what the common man is facing.
Please go on strike.
No, but then it's not going to be in our own position to actually.
I'm an analyst. I'm analyzing. Yes, yes. I'm saying that let those people that want to go on strike. That is my own opinion.
But do you agree that Tinubu has actually stabilized the Nigerian economy?
Well, it's a simple thing. Go to the market and ask the price of goods and services. The price of goods and services on ground will tell you if the economy has been stabilized. And even if it has gone up, you ask yourself at what ratio. If it has gone up by 10%, fine and good, 15%, even 100% will be better. But there are times you see service and goods jumping by 300 to 400%. Then you ask yourself, is it economy? Has it really stable?
And the question that so many people are asking is that these things they go up, but
they don't come down.
Why?
So only people like Carlo, who many people term as stooge, many people take as political harlots, can say these things and stand by it. But for me, if you want to know whether the economy has stabilized, please ask the ordinary man, those who pay school fees, those who go to market every day, ask them. Then you ask yourself, how much were you buying liter of fuel, gas? Because Musa, the other day I was at a gas station. Remember in 2023, a kilo of gas was 250 naira, 200.
That's 1 kg.
1 kg. Yeah. Many of us changed our generator from fuel to gas.
CNG, yes.
But today, we are now trying to go back to petrol. Because why? The gas is even more expensive than the petrol. Yeah. So, Carlo, has the economy done better?
Question to him. All right, there you have
it.
And
people like him.
It's a wrap on today's edition of Newspaper Headlines, which came to you from Frontline TV. On behalf of Uncle Sam, thanks for once again coming onto the program where we analyze a little bit of this and giving some of our own views, even though it's not in totality. Other people
have their own views.
They have their own view, but then we're still going to be doing it later on. So thank you, Uncle Sam, for coming onto the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we're going to call it a day. Don't forget, we're always bringing news to your front view. It's Frontline TV together with Moses Calvin, your anchor. Have a